today's video, you're going to see my version of Portrait Artist of the Year done Shelly J style. Let's do it. So, what is Portrait Artist of the Year? Let me explain. So, it's an artist competition held in the UK. You have to live in the UK to enter. So, the artists that are competing are turning in self-portraits, and the self-portrait is judged, and that's how you get entered into the competition if they select one of your self-portraits. There's professional artists that are entering, there's amateur artists that are entering, and they usually select a good mix of the two, pretty equal. Put in your self-portrait to enter, and if you're selected, you go to London, the Battersea Park, I think it is, and you get to film yourself and your other artists that are there with you painting. They give you 4 hours to paint. The sitters are celebrity sitters. They're 3 that come in each episode, and you do not know who you're going to get to paint. So the sitter comes in, sits down, that's how you know who you're going to paint. You've got your easel, your whatever medium you work in, it's all set up, and the sitter's there, and you start painting. And you can have some conversation with the sitter. They're pretty fun. They're either actors, musicians, pretty famous people, the sitters. And then there's 3 judges on Portrait Artist of the Year. Professional and amateur artists finish painting the sitter. The artists put the paintings together side by side, and then they pick the 3 top portraits, and then from there they select the final winner of that episode, or that heat as they call it. What's really interesting is the celebrity sitter gets to select one of the 3 paintings that are done of him that he gets to keep and take home, or she. So that's pretty fun. There's several heats, and then there's a semifinals, and then there's a final. And the grand prize of Portrait Artist of the Year is a $10,000 commission, and it will be hung in the National Portrait Gallery in London. And this year, the portrait sitter will be music legend Nile Rodgers. So that's pretty cool. So you work your way through the heats, you go through the semifinals, you go through the final, and then you paint this amazing guy, and your painting lives in the National Portrait Gallery in London. I think that's pretty cool. So that is the Portrait Artist of the Year. So I'll explain now, Portrait Artist of the Year done Shelly J style. Okay, so Portrait Artist of the Year done Shelly J style is me entering the competition with my own self-portrait, which is right here behind me. It's called My Own Worst Enemy. It's a homage to Frida Kahlo. She had done a double self-portrait, and there was also a portrait of her in a suit where she was cutting her hair in a moment where she was upset with her then lover, I think Rivera. So you can see I've got a little thing here kind of mimicking all of that with the Frida Kahlo double self-portrait, and that's what I'm entering the competition with. So fast forward, I've been selected to be in, and so the celebrity sitter, how will we do that? Here's what I came up with. I'm going to have my husband select from my YouTube subscribed list of videos that I like. He's going to pick 10, and then we'll put that in a hat, and then each episode I will pull out of the hat who I'm going to paint. So I won't know, just like they don't know. So that'll be fun. So at the beginning of each episode, we'll find out who I'm going to paint. And then I think, so the background of each sitter on the actual Portrait Artist of the Year has an interesting theme to it. They'll pick like an old artist, master like Van Gogh or something, and put some of his painting elements in the background of the sitter. So instead of that, since my sitter is going to be pulled from YouTube and it'll probably be on my computer screen as my reference, I'm going to select some of the elements, if they're an artist, from their art or something from their channel that makes sense, and put that in the background of my sitter. So that's it. Portrait Artist of the Year, a la Shelly J style. Let's paint.
Hey, welcome to my channel, Shelly J. Cox and SJC Sport Couture. This is where art meets fashion.
All right, we've got all 10 names here. I'm going to shake it up, and let's see who I get to paint today. Ten Hun! Yeah, all right, that's gonna be awesome. Let's get painting. Ten Hun.
So I want to tell you the story about how I found Ten Hun rather than explain my painting process. So if you have any questions, just put them in the comments and I'll be sure to respond. All right, I discovered Ten Hun when I was watching his podcast interview with the artist Slew. I'd never heard of him before this, so thank you Slew and YouTube. After the podcast, I watched some of Ten Hun's YouTube videos. I was intrigued by his graffiti style art, but also his demeanor. He's just so easygoing and super chill, authentic for sure. And since I put my art on clothes too, I started watching some of his videos about how he puts art on tees and does these really cool collabs with other artists with a similar style. Then, the big cincher for me, the thing that made me think Ten Hun and me are of the same mindset, sort of kindred spirits, if you will, which is funny because we couldn't be two different people. So, Ten Hun opened a store/art gallery, and so did I. He put his art on clothes for his store. So did I. He put his art in the gallery along with other area artists. So did I. And by the way, I've never met another artist who's done all of this other than myself. They may be out there, I just haven't seen it. So it's obvious we are both crazy and fearless. And then I see his video where he tells everyone that his clothing store, Statics, is going to be closing and will just be online going forward. I too had just made this very same decision. And let me tell you, there has not been a more difficult decision that I've ever had to make than this. It was a year-long battle in my head. Do I close my store? Do I keep my store open? Back and forth, back and forth. But now I'm happy with my decision and I know I absolutely did the right thing. I imagine that Ten Hun has experienced a similar effect. So here we are, two very different people living strangely connected lives. But I will say, he is so much more adventurous than I am, especially regarding his video where he goes to China to design a sake bottle, which came out really cool. Well done. And he travels a lot during murals where I prefer to be at home in my studio. But that's the beauty of YouTube. I can experience those things through other artists' eyes. So that's the story of how I found Ten Hun. Hey, Ten, if you ever see this video, I'd love to give you this painting. Just drop me a note of where to send it. Hey, and thanks for being you. I hope all that wasn't too corny, but it's just how I feel. Hey, if you're liking this video, be sure to hit me that thumbs up button. And go ahead and subscribe if you want to make sure you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Thanks for watching. So you may be wondering where I got my reference material from. So I was on YouTube, and during one of Ten Hun's videos, I freeze framed a few of the videos and picked the one I thought would work the best. Then I went back in, erased his background, and dropped in a couple of his characters that I'd found in his videos and in his t-shirt store, and popped those in the background, and then added my little touch of the other elements around him and on his hands, and just really wanted to have fun with it because, I don't know, he seems like the kind of person that would want to have fun. So that's how I got the reference material. You'll see more of that coming up. And also, for Portrait Artist of the Year, I was supposed to complete the portrait within 4-hour time period. I did complete the face and the head, but it did take me a little more than 4 hours to put in the background elements, which just had to be done, so it had a good, really cool painting at the end of it all. Alright, so I'm just gonna kick back and chill and let you guys watch me paint for a while. I'm really having fun with this one, so stay tuned. Portrait Artist of the Year, done Shelly J style. Episode 1, Portrait of Ten Hun. Alright. I can't wait to see who I get to paint on the next episode of Portrait Artist of the Year, done Shelly J style. Be sure to check in and watch that episode. Number 2 coming at you soon.